sizable British contingent here at Antidotum Leszno 2024, but sitting next to me now is Bob Grimstead, probably the man who has had the longest journey to get here to Leszno. Tell me a bit about the odyssey of the last 2 or 3 days.
Well, the longest journey in terms of time, it's 9 hours 20 minutes chock to chock in 2 days, because my airplane only goes very slowly, about 75 knots, which is about, what's that, 140 kilometers an hour, something like that. So everything takes time.
But you made it.
I made it.
And it did take you 2 days, 5 flights. Did it go relatively smoothly for you?
Well, there was a little hiccup before I left base, which you don't know about. I've just come back over from Australia, where I normally overwinter, and the airplane had been laid up for the winter, so I had to get it ready for flight. It wasn't helped by the fact that I went down with a cold that I contracted in Singapore airport, so it took me a little longer than usual. And when I came to do a engine check run in the morning of departure, the engine was only running on 3 cylinders. As always, this took quite a lot of diagnosing. I changed all the spark plugs, inspected all the HT leads. It turned out to be a broken HT lead inside one of the plug caps, and that delayed me by about 2 hours, which meant I had to refile the flight plan and do all the other bureaucratic stuff. But anyway, I got away, and I flew via Wevelgem, which is Courtrai in Belgium, and then cleared customs there, and then on to Marl to stay the night. I'd hoped to go a bit further, but because I'd been delayed, that's where I stayed the night. And then the next morning I came to pre-flight the airplane and found one of the exhausts was cracked. So I had to run around and get somebody to repair that for me, which I'm delighted to say they were able to do in a couple of hours. But again, that meant I left a couple of hours late on the second day. So then it was a bit of a rush from Marl to Paderborn, from Paderborn to Dessau, which closed 5 minutes before I arrived, but they stayed open very kindly. And then here. So yeah, I arrived in a bit of a lather last night, and I don't know if you noticed, it took me like 3 or 4 minutes to get out of the airplane because I was so stiff. But I'm here.
You're here, that's the important thing, and
Yeah.
what can people expect to see from your display, which is going to be a bit different to what the viewers might have known from you in the past.
That's right. I fly. I was reminiscing, thinking as I wandered over here. I'm probably the oldest display pilot here, and I fly the lowest powered aeroplane. I think the lowest powered display airplane anywhere in the world. So what I limit myself to is basic aerobatics with smoke on my wingtips. Today I'm adding, this is my first public display with pyrotechnics, so I'm also going to have pyrotechnics on board.
Yes, something you've done once before, but not for the public.
Correct. I did. My airplane is a Fournier RF4D. It was designed by René Fournier, who is currently 103 years old and still going, still even driving, I'm delighted to say, a delightful Frenchman. And I went across to the Bay of Biscay last September to fly a special display with pyrotechnics for him as my maiden pyros display. So this will be my first proper public display, and I have to say I'm very much looking forward to it. The team that runs the show here seem to be very young, very dynamic, extremely friendly. Everything I've seen so far has lifted my spirits. I'm really looking forward to flying for them this evening.
Everyone I know who has come to Leszno feels exactly the same way. It's a remarkable place and a remarkable group of people, and a remarkable display from you that is going to kick off our pyro displays. You'll be the first one,
Yes.
setting the tone for what's to come. And I think you undersell yourself with basic aerobatics because you've got flick rolls, stall turns, the avalanche, of course, which is going to look fantastic with Roman candles firing forward. I always enjoy your show, and I am sure that today will be no different.
I actually normally fly what are nowadays designated by the CAA intermediate level aerobatics. I used to fly what they now designate as advanced level aerobatics, but I only have an intermediate level display authorization, so I've had to take out some of the more complex, perhaps difficult maneuvers, but I think that's probably sensible for my first sunset, evening time pyro pyrotechnics display. It's sensible to stick to fairly straightforward manoeuvres. And it's just the reason why I'm starting the show is because I fly 3 minutes of aerobatics with smoke, so that's basically a daylight display. And then just the last minute I have pyrotechnics. Because it's a single-seat aeroplane, I can't carry much in the way of pyrotechnics weight.
I'm going to ask you one last very quick question before we turn over to the PC-7 team. We're about to start, I think, with a crowd overflight coming straight over the top of us. But before they do, I'm intrigued to know, it's a very low-powered aeroplane, 39 horsepower. You're loading up the wingtips with pyrotechnics. Is there a performance penalty?
Actually, I haven't noticed one. The theory is that the end plate effect of the plate and the smoke pods on the wingtips counteract, like winglets really, gives a little bit more lift and counteracts the additional weight of the pyro. So I haven't actually noticed any performance shortfall, I'm pleased to say.
Well, thank you for coming to speak to us. I think we'd better now watch the PC-7 team. They're currently rehearsing something, or an element of something, that we will see later